Yay,
Thank you very
my
much for
turn.
getting me.
What's up, everybody? Richard Hart here to drop truth bombs on you guys. Like, you guys are all acting like something amazing happened here. You're not in the real game, okay? In the real game, we're still totally censored everywhere. We can't see anything we want anywhere. I've been banned off YouTube 4 different times, begged the internet gods to unban me. Thank God they did, because there ain't no customer service email. You're literally one bot away from being completely removed from society. And so many people used to be able to speak publicly that can't anymore. There was a bald dude. He used to talk about atheism and being free from your parental control. I think his name was Stefan Molyneux. Gone. He's gone. Alex Jones, gone. Trump, gone. This dude named Destiny, gone. And there's all these other people that are just totally gone. You'll never hear from them again. They don't exist anymore because they got canceled by all the people that are in power. So Elon bought Twitter to try and unscrew it. It's obviously sucked, which is why he had to buy it. It was good. He wouldn't have had to buy it and fix it. And then he discovers that, oh, look, censorship was happening. We know. We've all had, like, you're not allowed to advertise crypto on there. They don't accept the ads. You're not allowed to advertise crypto on Reddit. You're not allowed to advertise crypto magazines. You're not allowed to advertise anything except that hurts people. If you have an exchange that hurts people, they'll take your ads. If you have a casino, they'll take your ads. If you have sports betting, they'll take your ads. But if you have an honest cryptocurrency, they won't accept your ads. And so what you need to do to get your free speech back isn't to beg Elon to release papers of what is obvious, that they've been censoring the crap out of everything. The only unique or interesting part of which was the ruling party had some say in it, which is obviously a First Amendment violation. And by the way, my people, the Hexicans, for you guys that don't know, I founded a cryptocurrency. My people are receiving government subpoenas asking them for records of every conversation they've had with other people about the product. Now, explain to me how that's okay with the First Amendment, how that's not a chilling effect, how that is not a slap strategic lawsuit against public participation. The government is fishing expedition asking people for their conversational records with me. Why is the government subpoenaing people's conversations with me? This is happening to me. So is anyone else on the call having people subpoenaed for their conversations? No, just me. It's not a fair world that we live in. And where's our redress? Where do we go to get fairness for this? So what I'm saying is the solution for all of this censorship crap is to treat the utilities as utilities and break them up like you did Ma Bell when Ma Bell was a monopoly. We have now public-facing communication services, such as social media, that are more important to us than the telephone systems ever were, but they were smart enough to break up the telephone system and allow competition and allow greatness and allow excellence. And that's why you could buy DSL from 10 different providers, even though they go through the same central telecom switch. That's the reason you could get internet from 10 different places instead of just having AOL. So regulating these utilities will give you your freedom back. Giving you data portability will give you your freedom back. There used to be a hashtag on Twitter called net neutrality. And net neutrality meant that you and your packets and your data had to be treated the same as everybody else's. And they couldn't decide to just like, oh, you want to send a Bitcoin transaction? Yeah, we're just going to put a 10% tax on that. Oh, you want to visit a shopping website? We put a 2% tax on that. Because they could do that, and they want to do that. Like these telcos want to monetize in any way they can. They don't want to be a dumb pipe. They want to act like they're an endpoint and try and start siphoning money off you. And so basically, like even Twitter's trying to do this, right? Twitter wants to bang you for $8, but it's so funny. They don't really want to bang you for $8. You can still use the platform at the same level, roughly, as someone that didn't pay the $8. You're just paying for basically a hat, except they only have one color of hat, and it's called a blue check mark. So it's like a Team Fortress hat, except it's just a blue check mark, which, by the way, I had to work a lot harder for. I didn't pay $8 for my blue check mark. I had to do it the hard way. So it's just, I don't understand why everyone's so excited about a data leak that is something is obvious. Everyone that has
let me cut you off right there. The reason people are excited about this data leak is, yes, it is confirming the obvious, but there's a difference between something being true to everybody and having evidence for it. That's the difference, right? That we haven't had any hard evidence that they were actually colluding. They could deny it, and there was no way to say, hey, you guys are lying, because that would be stipulation. That's the difference. That's why this matters. If we're going to, when I say we, I mean as in the public, is going to make this into an issue where they bring it into the court of law, either through AG, some state, from places like Florida or Texas, or if they're going to do it in Congress, they need evidence. They can't just be saying, making assumptions and going on some fishing expedition to make the claim that can easily be denied and shot down. That no court is going to say, oh yeah, that's totally legit because it seems to be true. No, there needs to be evidence, and Elon has provided the evidence. That's what we're excited about.
So I shouldn't ask you, Richard. I shouldn't ask you how you feel about the EU's proposal concerning Twitter in the next few months. Then,
yep. What was the EU proposing?
Well, the EU is basically saying that they're going to prevent the they're going to bar Twitter unless they do something about the potential limitations on freedom of speech.
No. But, if I remember correctly, every big global war has come from that side of the world. So maybe they should chill out and let the free speech stuff work.
I'm just joshing with you, but it's nice to see you. How you doing?
Good. So, the solution here is, by the way, Twitter is a private company. They could ban everyone named John legally. They're like, yeah, you're just not allowed to be named John. We don't serve John. Sorry. Bye, Johns. So the only way that this evidence is going to be useful is if the ruling party used it to stop people's First Amendment rights. And I
think there you have it, though, Richard. And I'm speaking to you as someone who worked for Biden years ago and blew the whistle and came forward. I just had, I don't know if you saw it. I gave it to Mario. It could be up in the little top, but the Daily Caller just showed the subpoena. They subpoenaed all my social media when I came forward. I'm just a regular citizen, but they did it under sealed warrants, and there's a sealed case. I don't even know what it's about other than I'm being investigated simply because I came forward as Biden. So what this is showing is, and I'm speaking to you now, with my lawyer hat on, is what Ian pointed out. This isn't just rumors, isn't just like people saying or colluding and talking about it. It's actual receipts of showing what prosecutors look for is a pattern of behavior, and also receipts. It shows when, why, where, and also the motive of how the DNC and the Biden campaign and then the Biden administration colluded with intelligence agencies. Now, that's very key, because then you get into the constitutional rights and the intelligence community. They take, and just like Biden, when he, in his administration, they took an oath to uphold the Constitution, and they violated that oath. And that's what Elon Musk pointed out in his tweet. That's why this is very important, because this is historical. This will go down in history, and it's going to take a while for it all to unravel. But Elon Musk, I don't know him personally, but he is heroic for doing this, because he's coming up against a huge power machine that might affect all his other businesses because of his government contracts. Because he's exposing that the intelligence community behind the scenes violated U.S. citizens' right to choose their own political candidate by suppressing information that was of the public interest. So yes, there will be huge reveals. And I think probably the reveal today, I don't know, but I'm wondering if it's going to be more about the intelligence community and that collusion, as well as corporate media. Now, the corporate media, they use PR firms for. So anyway, that's
I just think it's funny that the company that's trying to make it better is when every single crypto channel has been banned off YouTube multiple times, where's our leaks from YouTube? Like, hey guys, can you guys stop screwing us, right? Or like when magazines won't accept ads. It's just sad that we only get, the only people leaking data are the people that are trying to help us in the first place, Like, we just have Twitter stuff because Elon's nice enough to hook it up.
Well, and the other point with the DOJ stuff, like in my case, I didn't even know that my communications were all being taken under sealed warrants. The only reason I knew is that the Twitter attorney contacted me and said, look, we had to go to court to tell you that you are under surveillance by your government. And so as a citizen, I didn't even know. And so I'm just a minuscule example of a very big problem. And so they did take all my Twitter, all my Twitter information, all of it, as well as my Google, my Gmail, my Instagram, my Facebook, which I've deleted those apps anyway. But the point is that those companies didn't contact me. Only Twitter did. And they had to do court cases and spend thousands to do it. So that must have been under Jack Dorsey. I don't know. but I do know that I've been shadow banned on Twitter before Elon. Now I'm not. And I've been suppressed because they saw me as a threat and tried to destroy me using intelligence services. So that's what, to your point, that's why this is such a big deal. Not just for me, this is for all American citizens. American citizens should not be under surveillance by their government because they're using Twitter and Instagram and Facebook if they're not committing a crime, simply if they're
It's the Fourth Amendment. It clearly states that you should be free from unreasonable search and seizure and blanket phishing, like mass surveillance. I mean, Snowden was proved correct. Like he was right. There was illegal surveillance going on. And then everyone forgot about it. Nothing changed. The important part here is you got two enemies. The government is your enemy. They need fixed. They're doing things they shouldn't be doing, and it's not good for them or you. And the companies need fixed. You need competition to breed excellence. Unless we have data portability, and unless we have these utilities treated as utilities and broken up and demonopolized, you shouldn't be able to get cancel cultured if 3 companies ban you. That's not a sustainable way to live. So we've got 2 enemies here. One is the company monopolies, which are emergent, or not in Facebook's case. They're not emergent. They buy every competitor. And they're also government overreach. And they're 2 enemies, not one. Look,
correct.
Elon gets screwed by the Biden administration every single day. He is the largest new car manufacturer in 100 or 200 years in the United States. He doesn't get invited to the electronic vehicle summits. Like he doesn't exist. He's the only game in town, and the Biden administration pretends he's not even there. So like
and the media hates him. The media hates him. You can literally tweet at me, and they will write an article about how he tweeted at me, and then they repeat every single rumor they heard about either of us. It's insane. It doesn't really matter. Like he doesn't care, right? He just doesn't give a shit about these people because, like I said to him publicly, and he agreed with me. It's like there's no point in trying to play their game or placating them because they're gonna hate you regardless. Fuck them. Fuck the activists, right? If he wants,
they did the same. The car media did the same thing to him. And when Tesla cars came out, like literally Top Gear ran it out of battery on their own just to try and make it look bad. And he had to sue Top Gear for literally savaging his new car company and making the car look worse than necessary. And so he doesn't buy ads. He doesn't buy ads. He's the only car company that doesn't buy ads. So guess who doesn't make money on him? The advertising companies, the magazines. But because the stuff's so good, they have to cover it for free anyway. So
Elon is the ad. That's because he's the ad and he knows how to do it.
Here's a very simple explanation why Elon is doing this. Elon can't stand bullies. Elon stands up to bullies, and he also doesn't like injustice. So he is putting everything on the line to change things because he's a smart guy. He sees exactly what's going on. He knows what's wrong in society. He knows what needs to happen so humanity has a chance to move forward without all of these restrictions into our human rights and stifling of free speech. So what he's doing here is a great service to humanity. And if he wants to come up and talk about it, let him talk about it.
Your hand up while I try to invite Elon. Go ahead.
By the way, I tried to move Elon up just now. It says error. He cannot be moved. So the app.
Oh, it's working. Now my invite is working from my end. But yeah, I'll keep trying. Go and I'll DM him on, or Elon can, I can't DM you. You can DM me if it's not working for you. Sorry, go ahead, Alex.
Yeah, so I just wanted to go back to a point that Richard made when he said that he doesn't care about like the activities of Biden's son and like his drug abuse. I think that
I care greatly. I just said I wanted evidence of a tie.
That's okay. So, but this is my point, though. I think that overall demonstrates the point of why it's so important that this story got out is because a lot of people might have that opinion. They might say that.
Hey, Elon's a speaker now.
Okay, yeah.
Elon's up with us, I think. Elon, can you hear us? Awesome. Elon, can you hear us? I think he's up.
It takes a while to load.
Can you hear me now?
Yep,
I
can hear you now.
Hello, Mr.
Fantastic.
Sorry, guys. I think there's like maybe some glitches in the spaces that we need to fix. I'll dig into it next week. Yeah, I mean, on the Twitter file stuff, I mean, the idea here is simply to come clean on everything that has happened in the past in order to have build public trust for the future. I think that's essential. Like, why should people believe Twitter in the future if Twitter does not come clean about the past? That's what it comes down to. So it's just, so I've given Matt, Taibbi, and then just recently, about an hour ago, Barry Weiss, access to all Twitter documents. So it's like unfettered access to anything, and this is not like a North Korean tour guide situation. This is you get to go anywhere you want, whenever you want, wherever you want, however you want. So I'm not like controlling the narrative, or I didn't I was seeing Matt's tweets as he was tweeting them. So I'm like, I was just as eager to see them as everybody else. And I think Matt did a great job. I mean, there are a few cases where I think we should have excluded some email addresses. Sorry, Jack. Jack at Pizza is now, might need a different email address, but so we often need to, not have email addresses in there, and I think we need to post more actual source documents, so then people can draw their own conclusions. But it's just obvious that there's been a lot of controlled information, suppression of information, including things that affected elections, and that just all needs to be, it's kind of like this friggin' Stasi files, like at the point you just want to have the stuff out there. So
Elon, I have a very blunt question for you then. Given the past few days over Yi and what we're talking about, the freedom of expression, and people want to ask hard questions. So we've had one side where we've now seen you freeze his account again, but now you're releasing information that about the freedom of expression. So how are you going to balance the levels to which we speak about the freedom of expression on Twitter?
Yeah, well, I think,
if that makes sense.
Sure. With Kanye, it's obviously a difficult subject, but that was a case where it was like, where that was my decision. But I think it's important that people know, okay, that was my decision, because at a certain point you have to say, what is incitement to violence? Because that is against the law in the U.S. You can't just have form a club, let's go murder someone club. That's not actually legal. So the question is, what is incitement to violence? And I think, posting swastikas in what is obviously not a good way is an incitement to violence. I personally wanted to punch Kanye, so that was definitely inciting me to violence. Anyway, that's not cool.
Well, just to hang on, but you mentioned in a good way.
Well, no, it's just that like it could be
sense.
like an analysis of the Second World War or something. That's a history drama, or whatever.
It's contextual.
Yeah,
right?
it's like okay, like let's a battlefield or something, and that's got this so some sort of war history thing. I don't know, something like that. Then that would be okay. But
it has to be contextual. I mean, if he's posting it in a way that is trying to rally people to anti-Semitic views, then yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's like you can also say okay, well, let's look for added context outside of Twitter to say like, well, was this meant in a friendly way? And it's like, okay, well, no, he's saying that he likes Hitler and other things. And look, at the point at which Alex Jones is like telling Kanye to calm down and please stop. You have to say, okay, Alex Jones is pretty edgy, so Alex Jones is saying Kanye wants Kanye to stop. That's a big deal. So anyway, but I don't want to get into like some sort of huge this could easily get derailed into a laborious.
Agreed. Yeah, we should talk more about the file. So you mentioned that you gave it to Barry Weiss, right? So she has full access. Does this mean that we are going to see multiple exposés, not just ones from Matt Taibbi?
Yeah, the point is to just have everything come clean. So the thing is that like it's not that people would necessarily agree with everything that Twitter has done in the past or in the future, but they should at least know that it is occurring and there's no shady stuff that is happening that they're unaware of. So then at least if Twitter is explicit about its actions and transparent, you can then appropriately calibrate your interpretation of what you learn on Twitter. As opposed to thinking, Twitter pretending to be unbiased and even-handed. So there's a way to get everyone to agree with all the actions that Twitter will take. That's impossible. That is a null set. So, but what it is possible to do is to be fully transparent about it. Give me a break.
You're back.
He's back.
You dropped out for a bit. Yeah. Can you hear me? Can you hear us, Elon, or it's not? It's still glitching a bit. Can you hear me?
I'm about to take off.
Yeah, it's good.
Yeah. Yeah, carry on.
This
Yeah.
just turned into a Verizon commercial really quick. I just wanted to ask Elon really quick if there's any way to combine Twitter's efforts with people who have gone, as far as filing constitutional challenges. Is there any way to get them in touch with Matt and combine the efforts there?
Possibly. I'd reach out to Matt. And I mentioned I've also asked Barry Weiss to, also, I've given her access. I just gave Barry Weiss access to the Twitter files like an hour ago. I think at some point it might make sense to just have them publicly available, so that anyone can look at them.
A quick side question.
The idea
sorry, go ahead.
is the general thing we're aiming for is anything bad that Twitter's done in the past that at least it'd be surfaced so as to instill trust about Twitter in the future. And the thing where I may have blanked out a moment ago is that it is impossible for Twitter to take the set of actions that will satisfy all people, or probably even 90% of people. But what Twitter can do that is unequivocal is be completely transparent about its action and what's what is it doing, what is it not doing, how does the algorithm work, and if an account is suspended, why is it suspended? If an account is deboosted, just showing that it's been deboosted or search banned, and giving a reason for that, so that there's maximum transparency in the system, so that even if you disagree with what's going on Twitter, you at least can calibrate what you learn on Twitter based on what Twitter's doing, not have a situation where Twitter is claiming to be fair and even-handed, and then actually is not being so, at least from your perspective.